The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Somebody accidentally started the webinar.
I think that was me.
All right, we'll wait for everyone to show up here.
Tell this is my first KevCAM.
Questions in the start menu, or I'm sorry, the questions menu of the GoToWebinar, and Daniel will read those off to me, and we can get your questions answered right away. And tonight, helping out, I forgot to introduce everyone. We have Daniel Roberts from over in Nevada helping out. Daniel, are you with us?
I'm here, close, Salt Lake City.
Oh, Salt Lake City, sorry. And then Greg Payton to make sure I'm not missing any information for you guys. Greg, are you with us?
Hello, everybody.
All right, so with these night classes, these are dedicated to you guys. So if you, like I said, if you guys do have questions, let us know right away. These are very laid back classes. We'll joke around. We'll pick on some of our fun customers. But with that being said, every night class is being recorded. So if you would like to review a older night class or want to rewatch it, you guys can go to either go to YouTube and type in SolidCAM University, and all the night classes are here. And this is a great training source for everyone. There's pretty much how to do everything in the software inside here. Or you guys can go right to our website, click on Professor, and click on SolidCAM University. And these ones are much more cleaned up in here, more organized, I should say, than anything. So if you guys are looking for a video on how to do something, definitely come over here and check it out. So with that being said, if you guys do have ideas on what you guys would like to see in the night class, send those over to me via email, and everyone will have my email address in 2 seconds. I'll put that in the chat for everyone. All right, so you guys should see my email address in the chat. So if you guys do have an idea, send it over to us, and Danny will buy you a case of beer. Or we'll send you off a shirt and hat, and we'll get those ideas added in right away for you. So, all right, we'll stop with the boring stuff, and we'll get the ball rolling with drilling. So, not too much exciting stuff with drilling, but we're gonna try to cover as much as we possibly can to make it as clear for everyone as possible. So with drilling, you'll see that we have several different styles of drilled holes right here. We have a tapped hole. We have, let me get back over our SolidWorks here. So we have a tapped hole. We have some 1/4 inch drilled holes. We have some 5/16 holes, some 3/64, and then some 1/4 inch reamed holes and some 7/64 holes. So kind of going through everything. With SolidCAM drilling, that's going to include your spot drilling, your reaming, your tapping. All that is going to be all under the drilling operation for you. So what we'll do is we'll just start off with drilling. And well, before we get there, you can see we got my vise in here. I probed up my part, my X and Y and my Z, and then also machined off all these areas. So we're right up to size now. And now we can start the drilling process. So a couple different options for you guys here. We have 2D drilling and we have 3D drilling. Now, once we get into thread milling, which will be in 2 weeks or 2 more classes, then I'll kind of cover the thread milling there. But what they did in 2019 is they made it very easy to go right from 2.5D or 2D or 3D drilling right into a thread milling operation without having to jump out of your drilling and create a new operation. So for this part, we are going to be focusing on 2D. We are going to be working on Mac 1 position 1, which is in the center of our part here. Now, if I go ahead and grab new geometry, there's a couple different ways we can pick holes. What we can do is come in here and click on each individual hole and grab our holes, and we'll start off with this 1/4 tap first. Or, let me go ahead and delete all these. I can do a filter by size or by radius right here. I can manually pick a point. So if I wanted to drill a hole right here, but there was no geometry, I can just click on that point and it will automatically add that in there for me as well. So I'll go ahead and delete that one out. But my personal favorite way, and what I find is the easiest way to go about it, is using your SolidWorks. So usually you will see this minimized up here. So if you would like, go ahead and maximize that down, come down to your design model. And now I have all my features that were added in here through SolidWorks. So what I would like to do is grab my 1/4-20 tapped holes, and all I have to do is just click on it. I got my geometry, 1 second here. Click on my 1/4-20 tapped holes, and it will automatically find all of my 1/4-20 tapped holes for me. So I can accept that geometry. Now I can come in here and modify. I can do shifts for my hole locations. I can, in my X and Y, I can do each individual hole, or I can do all of my holes. So if I'm, let's say I need to shift over these holes by 1/4 inch in my X axis, I can actually shift those over 1/4 inch, and everything will still be linked to it. Now moving on to our tool. So for this specific one, we're going to do a spot drill. And I will just grab a 1/2 inch spot drill here. And we'll throw a holder on there. And we'll just use this 1/2 inch. Oops, well, that'll work. So we got our holder on there. Now, you guys may ask, what's the center drill for? So the center drill is so you guys can go in there and reorganize this at the end. So as we go through this, I'm going to be adding a lot of drills and spot drills and taps and reams. What I can do is, with that, having this turned on, I can reorder everything to tell it to do all the center drills first. So I'll turn that on. Now, this is new for 19, is we can turn on our holder protection. So if we are trying to get deep down inside of a hole, we can turn on our holder collision protection. And what this will do is it will keep the holder away from the workpiece by whatever value is in here. So right now it's set up for 290 thou. So it's a nice new feature in there. Like I said, if you got a holder that, or have a holder that's getting close, you guys can turn that on. Since I'm doing a spot drill, I really don't have to worry about my holder getting in there. And even though with this collision, holder collision turned off right now, even when I solid verify and I crash my holder in there, it will alarm you of that. But when it goes to create the depths for me, having this turned on will avoid that crash for you. Okay. Now, our positioning levels, we kind of already covered that with the face mill profile and all the other ones. But what we like to do in here, or at least I like to do in here, is on my levels. So my upper level of my part, which is this top piece right there, in my drill depth, what I like to do, since I don't know how deep I want to spot drill out my that 1/4-20 hole, I will just put a 0 in there, or I can just click on the surface as well. Now what I like to do down here at the bottom is, I know this is a 1/4-20 hole and I want to put a little bit of a chamfer on there. So what I can do is come in here and type in, we'll do 0.27. So we get a little bit of a chamfer on there for when we put our bolts in there and whatnot. Okay, so you guys do have the option. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Kevin, if you don't know the value that you need to type into that box, but you do have that chamfer feature, you can also use the diameter value button and select directly from the model.
Yep. So I can come in here and click on the like Greg said, on the diameter, and it will auto populate those in there. So it's going to go off of the minor diameter, which is our 201 drill. But then you can auto populate like that. And like what Greg is saying is on one of these other holes, if we actually had a chamfer drawn on there, you can just click that diameter value button right there as well. Thanks, Greg. We'll do 27. Now, you also have a cutter tip, and I'll cover these ones shortly, but for right now, we're gonna tell it to spot drill all the way up to the spot drill is going deep enough to do a 0.27 diameter. Technology, starting over on the left-hand side, this is how do you want it to sort. So I can do it off a default, and the default is gonna go based off of how the engineer drew up the model. So if he chose this hole, then came over here, and then came over here, and come over here, SolidCAM will follow that pattern. And if you don't like that pattern, we can click on shortest distance, or one that I like to use quite often is the advanced. And in the advanced one, I can actually select what pattern I would like it to go. And I can change that tolerance up to go tighter or looser to follow the pattern. So we got kind of zigzag with a linear pattern, or we can go to the circular patterns right here. So a couple different options in there to save a little bit of time out on the machine for you. Okay, so we'll just go off the default for this one. Now right here, the reverse direction, I'm going to cover that in our next drill operation. Now here is where our fixture protection. So if we have a drill or a holder getting close to that fixture, we can put in a fixture protection. So this comes in handy if you're using a vacuum table and you really don't want to drill into that vacuum table. We can put that in there, or if you're, like I said, anything to do with your fixture. Now, here is our drill cycles. Now, depending on the post processor that you're using, some of these on your guys' post, you may see fewer or more of these options in here. We're using a Haas post for this one right here. So I have the, your standard G81, which is a standard drill cycle. G82 is going to be your dwell. G83 is going to be a PEC. And then your G73 is going to be a drill with like a chip break. So for this one, we're just doing a standard spot drill. So we'll just do a G81. Now between my passes, it's going to go up to the clearance level, but I can change that down and lower it down to my safety distance, which is being read by your levels right here. So we have a safety distance of 78 thou, or we can have it go up to the clearance. So if you guys are looking for high production, I would definitely check that out right there. Just make sure you're not going to hit anything or as it's going across your part. Now, with that being said, kind of like what we talked about face milling and drilling, that's going to be the main focus of everything. And the motion control is going to get into the fourth axis stuff, and we'll be covering fourth axis drilling at a later time. But this is where you can go and change that, as well as the miscellaneous parameters. So they're depending on what post you're using, you're going to have more messages in here or less. So let's go ahead and save and calculate that. And we'll go ahead and simulate that through. So we have our fixture in there, and I can single step this through. I'm happy with the pattern, and our location is all good. So now, since I already did a spot drill, instead of having to go through and repick all the geometry again and redoing everything for my quarter 20, what I can do is just simply come in here, make a copy. And now what I'll do is I'll come and grab my drill that I need. So for this quarter 20 hole, I'm gonna grab that drill. Now, this is another cool feature is if I'm not sure what that hole is or what a quarter 20 tap is supposed to be for a drill size, all I have to do, highlight that number and click inside that diameter, and it will auto-populate the correct drill size for me. So pretty nice to have that in there. And we'll go ahead and grab a holder here, and we'll use a ER32. There we go. And I will uncheck my center drill, and then we will go to our levels. And the only thing I need to change up on my levels is my drill depth and my diameter value. So if I click on drill depth here, this one does not go all the way through, but I have a good clean to my point, my drill point right there. So I'll just grab that and I'll tell it to use the cutter tip versus the full diameter or the diameter value. So it does all the calculations for you based off of the angle, the tip angle and all that stuff will auto calculate for you. Now in the technology, we'll say that we're cutting some harder material here. So we'll do a pecking cycle, which is a G83. And I will tell it that I would like a peck of 100 thou. Now, like I said before, depending on your post, you may have more or less in your values in here. So we can set up our Q peck, we can set up a first peck, we can set up a reduce amount, dwells, all that in here. Now, if you like to see the pecking cycle inside of your Solid Verify, you will need to also add this for your step down. So the step down will not affect your G code at all, but all it is showing is for your Solid Verify. Okay. So now we're doing a pecking cycle. Now, when it started spot drilling, we started in this top corner over here and went this way and back around. Well, now if I do save and calculate again, the drill is going to come over again, drill, drill, drill. But to save a little bit of time, what I can do is I can actually reverse the direction. So instead of the table having to move that distance, I can just do reverse and the table won't even move after the tool change. So now, if we go ahead and do a simulate here, you'll see that it left off on the last operation of that spot drill. And a little too fast there. So now we can see it spot drilling. I can see that I really don't have to worry about my fixture or my tool holder at all. And we're good to go. So now all we have left is to add our tap in there. So what we can do is make another copy and we will change our drill to a tap. We'll grab a new tool, a tap, and we are doing a 1/4-20, and we'll go ahead and grab a holder here. And now the only thing we need to change up is our drill depth. So obviously I don't want the tip of that tap to go to the exact same point as the tip of my drill. So what I can do is zoom in here and I'll click on the outside edge. So that gives me a little bit of room in there for if there's chips that get underneath there to compact. So we have the entire drill bottom to compact chips there. And then once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse my order to save a little bit of time. So I will uncheck this now, and we can have a G84 or a G84 pecking tapping cycle with this one, and we can save and calculate. And I'm going to hop out of here and I'm going to play all three of these through so we can get a good simulation of what's going on. All right, so we're spot drilling. We're drilling. Pretty exciting stuff, guys, isn't it? And now we ran our tap through. Now, if I look at this, I can see I got a nice little chamfer for my thread relief on there. I saved myself a little bit of time by keep reversing the direction. So pretty nice and simple to do that. Now, I'll go ahead and turn off that toolpath. We'll grab our just our regular 1/4 inch. So what we can do is I can either start right from my spot drill and add a new operation, or I can add it at the end, and then we can combine all the spot drills together at the end. So we'll go ahead and do a drilling again. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work my way right down the list. So I'm going to grab my 1/4 inch holes, grabbed them, and that one doesn't say reamed, so I don't have to worry about, I can just do a drill or a spot drill and a drill. I'm going to reuse that spot drill that I used before. Now my levels, my upper level is going to be 0. My lower level will be 0. And I would like to do a 0.26, which gives us a 10th chamfer on there. Save and calculate. And then once again, I can come in here, do save and copy. And first thing I will do is select and add a drill. And like I said, if I don't know the size of it, I can just click on the diameter of the hole and it will auto-populate for me there. And we'll go ahead and throw a holder on there. And now, with that level, I want to drill right to that tip. And there we go. Now, another way of going about that, since I have a nice clean view of my full diameter, I can also turn it to full diameter and grab that depth as well. And you're going to get the exact same calculation there. Okay. Technology, we'll go ahead and peck it out. And I'll do 100 thou peck. And I will reverse the direction to save us a little bit of time here. Now, I just want to double check my spot drill real quick to make sure I had that center drill turned on. Yep. So I'll turn that center drill on. There we go. All right. So we have those holes done now. And once again, we can start our drilling operation and we'll just keep working our way down the list here. So now we can go to our 5/16. Now, since that one has been machined off at a lower level, my upper level for that spot drill and my drill is now going to change. So if I go to my levels, my upper level is going to be this face. My lower level is going to be this face. And I already forgot what size I'm drilling, so I'm just going to grab that hole. And we can add an additional 10th chamfer on there. Save and calculate. And we will make a copy again. Add a new drill. Got our 3125. Grab our holder. And now I'll go to my levels. And my thread depth is showing through, so I can just click on the bottom of the part there. Now on this one, I'm definitely going to want to do full diameter, and it's going to go to the full diameter of that drill. But if I do that, I'll sometimes get that plug that's stuck at the bottom. So I'm just going to go an additional 20 thou past. So by using the delta, I can go either deeper or shallower, all based off of the delta. And you can see I'm showing a negative with the arrow, an arrow down here. So I'm going 20 thou past. Now with this one, we'll use a pecking cycle again. $100 thou seems to be the good number for tonight, so we'll go with that one. And then I will reverse the direction again. Save and calculate. And if we would like to see those two, we can simulate both of them. And you can see our previous operations are still there. And this would be a good one, especially since we're doing a through hole here. If we're running parallels underneath here and that drill is getting close to the parallels, mark that as your fixture and use your fixture detection in that way as well, because we hate drilling through our parallels, and we've all done it before. At least I have, Greg. Drilling, and we'll go to the next set of holes. So we got our 5/16. We can do our 13/64 hole. Like I said, see how much easier that is grabbing that geometry instead of picking everything. One thing you can do is if you have all the holes that are the exact same on one surface, you can actually click the surface as well, and it will grab all the holes. But we can't do that in this case just because all our holes are different sizes. Now with when we get into drill recognition and the hole wizard recognition, that process gets to be much easier. So with the drill recognition, and we'll cover this in drill recognition too, is I can click all of these holes and I can spot drill them to the correct diameters, all on the correct levels. So with drilling, it has to be done on that level that you're working on. All right, so do the 13. Actually, we'll just skip over that one. That's just boring. We will go to the reamed holes now. Okay. So we'll go ahead and grab a spot drill. And our upper level will be the top there. And our depth will be the exact same top. And, oh, that was a 1/4 inch. So I can just type in 0.26, save and calculate. And now I will make a copy. And we will go ahead, oops, actually, I forgot to do something, sorry. Forgot to turn on my center drill. And now we'll grab a new drill here. I don't have a drill tap chart right offhand with me, so we'll do a 238 drill because we're going to be reaming that one out. Holder. Okay. Levels, we'll change that up. So now my depth, get our part flipped around. Nope, that's a blind hole. So I can come in here. And I want it to do cutter tip. And technology, we'll switch this over to pecking. And I'll reverse that direction to save us a little bit of time. Okay. Now, maybe in this process, oh, actually, I forgot to add my reamer. Sorry. I'll hop back in there. And we'll make a copy again. And we will add our reamer. 0.25. Grab our holder. And go to our levels. Now, obviously, I don't want the tip of the reamer to be going down to the tip where I left off with that drill. So I'm going to go right to the size right there. And the calculation is going to be automatically based off of the tip of the reamer. So there's no option to do full diameter or diameter value just because it is a reamer, and it will recognize it as a reamer. Now on this one, we can do a G82 with a dwell, and we can have a dwell of, let's just do 12. And now I can unreverse that, save and calculate. And now we're basically done drilling out all those holes. So what I can do now is I can kind of come through and reorganize these. So what I can do is all my tool number 3s are all my spot drills. So what I can do is I can highlight those and drag them up towards the top, or I should be able to go to my operations here. And if we do, I just got to find it, sorry. Unless I got rid of it in here. Oh, shoot. Let me see if I can find it in here. Automatic sorting. Okay. So now, should be able to come in here. I just got to find where it is now. Automatic sorting. And I would like to do sorting. Use all center drills first. And I can click OK. And now, it didn't do it. Automatic sorting. Apparently I have to split them, which, okay, there it went. So now I have all my drills at the top and they're all right together. So since I would like to probe my part first and machine the pockets out, now I can move these, group them down right underneath here. So let me just kind of cover, let me calculate this path real quick. So if I cover that again, since I used that spot drill as an option when I was doing all my spot drilling, I can come in here, go to my automatic sorting. Boy, that one, where the heck is it now? Automatic sorting. And I can tell it to use all center drills first. And I want to do small to large diameter. So that's a good way of doing it. You guys can also do an advanced sort. So we can do off of tool sorting options, minimize position changes, all that as well. So I have everything done. Let's go ahead and play it through here. Oh, we don't need to show the probing on this particular one. All right, so we got our part. Those are the spot drilling. We're doing our drilling. And we're doing our tapping and reaming now. So pretty slick. Greg, did I miss anything? Must not have. He went silent on us.
I know you were going through each individual pass for emphasis, but for repetitive tasks like this, maybe you can go over the different strategies involved for duplicating these paths and make them faster and easier to generate this amount of toolpath.
Yeah, so.
And that was going to be my question, Kevin, as well. Is there a way to generate if you have the same, different pockets where you could do it all at once and then move on to the next one?
Yep.
Kind of at
Absolutely. So what I have done is actually created a template for a quarter 20. So with that being said, what I can do is come in here, add an operation. I need to do it for my process template. Add operation for my process template, and I will grab my quarter 20 spot drill tap. And we can use template name, hit OK. I can click the define. I can come over here and grab my quarter 20 hit OK. Now, what I just did is I just spot drilled, and tapped all those holes, all based off of a template. So all you have to do is you find, like what Greg was talking about here is our grouping. So I'm using the spot drill, drilling and tapping, and this is something that you use quite often. Just right click on it and create a template. And you can create that template to whatever you're looking for or whatever you're trying to do. So same thing with my reamed holes is instead of going through that entire long process right there, I got to show you guys the old school way before I show you the cool ways, is add operation from process template. I can do my custom quarter 20 or quarter inch reamed holes. I can do define. I can tell it to do my reamed holes and hit OK. And now I got a spot drill, ream, and I must have a chamfer in there or something like that from a previous time. So that's a very easy way, and definitely save these out as templates. This is what you have in your shop. This is what you like to see, all that stuff. It's makes it so much easier. So I just did all my quarter 20 tapped holes and my quarter inch reamed holes all within a couple mouse clicks instead of having to go through each individual operation itself. Is that where you're kind of getting at, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about that, and then also doing without the process templates, where you kind of do it from a local CAM tree, where you're able to grab the 3 operations, spot, drill, and ream or tap, whatever it may be, and do a copy and paste out of the CAM tree.
Yep. So what we can do is highlight everything that we're trying to group together, hit your Control C, or right click and do a copy. And now I can come down here, do a paste, and I can come in here and very simply change up my drill. I can come in here and change up my drill geometry to something else. So it's another way of going about it. Now, once I get into, I'll just delete these out real quick. Yep, and get back to kind of square one here. Once we get into the automatic stuff, there's even an easier way yet. So I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but since we are inside of SolidWorks and all the SolidWorks holes were used using the hole wizard process inside of SolidWorks, all this functionality right here, the nice thing what I can do is I can come up and click on hole wizard, and I can tell it I want to do all those holes. It will find all those holes, different depths. And get back to my SolidWorks or SolidCAM tab here. And it automatically spot drilled, and tapped, all based off of the SolidWorks hole wizard that was created right here. So whatever was specified by the engineer, all that data will get pulled over into the SolidCAM for your spot drill, and tap. But we'll get into that when we start covering the feature recognition. All right. Anything else I'm missing? Or Daniel, you have any questions?
No, not at this time. Just kind of taking it all in.
So let's go through from the start with probing our part. And I'd like to run this last one through for machine sim for everyone. All right. So get zoomed in here. Oop, went a little too far here. All right, so I'll slow this down, play it through. So we're probing up our X and Y, probing up our Z, and then we're going to machine off all our material there. spot drilling, doing all our drilling, doing our tapping and our reaming. And we are done with the final part. Now, one thing that I want to start showing everyone as well is the setup sheet. So if I want to see the tools that were used, we can do a setup sheet here. And what this will do is it will populate all the tools that were used in this program. And you can set it up as a Word document, an Excel, whatever you guys would like in there, or HTML. And it just takes a second to pull up the Word document. Wow. And it pops over my other screen. So the nice thing about this is I have all my tooling, my probe, my tool holders, my tool length offsets, all done right there, as well as cycle times for each one too. So if you guys didn't know about that, that is comes standard with SolidCAM. All right, well, that's pretty much drilling and everything there is to know about drilling inside there for everyone. Hopefully you got something out of it. Greg, got anything that I missed before we wrap it up here?
I don't know if you were planning to cover this tonight or planning on covering it in another class, but the new feature in 2019 where we have the automatic part avoidance for retracts, like if you had a rib in your part and holes on either side.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot about that one. That one is, I just got to find it here.
Yeah, I don't think the part on screen lends itself to displaying it.
Yeah.
As well.
Tell you what I will do is when we cover 3D drilling, I will show you guys that, or the 4th axis drilling. And boy, I'm having a heck of a time. Maybe it just won't show it because there's not a rib in there.
I think you're looking for. It's part of it's on the levels page, but so the milling level is going to be automatic instead of user defined
by updated stock.
By updated stocks.
Yep. Yeah. So yep. Yeah. So this one we don't have any ribs in there, but what it will do, and thanks for pointing that out, Greg, is it will automatically find based off of the updated stock. So it will stay down within safety, but if we have a large rib going through the middle of our part here, it will see that large rib and go up and over that rib and then keep the tool down going all the way through. So this is really good. If you have a lot of ups and downs, or like we were saying, fixtures as well, to keep that tool down inside the material versus always having to go up to the clearance. So great point. Forgot about that one. And promise I'll show you guys that on 3D. I'll make notes so I can have it apart, ready for everyone. Anything else I missed out, Greg?
No, I think that pretty well covers it.
All right. Daniel, or Dan, you got anything?
No, I think you nailed it on my end as well.
All right, perfect. Well, if anyone does have questions and is too afraid to write it now, definitely send those over to me in an email. We'll get those answered. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, my email address is in the description of the video, so you guys can contact me that way. But with that being said, let me cover our videos. So this is going to be the last one on the schedule. I do have some on-site training coming up, so I will. We should have this updated tomorrow for everyone, so you guys can register for the next classes that are coming up in order. So, all right, I'll leave it at that, and hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving and eats tons of turkey. And from that, we will talk to you guys next time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Good evening.